5th Street in the Oregon District. The suspect has been identified as a Connor Stephen Betts. He has a minimal criminal history as an adult. His traffic violations, speed, failure to control, and failure to yield. He was wearing a mask, a bulletproof vest, and hearing protection. He was armed with a .223 caliber-like rifle with 100-round drum magazines. He is 24 years of age and he is deceased. Fatalities from this assault include Lois Oglesby, a black female, 27 years of age. Megan Betts, white female, 22 years of age. She is the suspect's sister. Saeed Saleh, who is a black male, 38 years of age. Derek Fudge, black male, 57 years of age. Logan Turner, white male, 30 years of age. Nicholas Coomer, white male, 27 years of age. Thomas McNichols, black male, 25 years of age. Beatrice Curtis, black female, 36 years of age. Monica Brickhouse, black female, 39 years of age. In addition, there are 27 confirmed victims who were injured and were transported to local hospitals for treatment. Basic overview of this scene, of this entire incident, is now on your screen. In the lower left-hand corner, you see a square. That is the approximate location of the suspect's vehicle that was parked, and then the suspect left and then went on to commit this assault. The rectangular area toward the right side and more center of the diagram is where the suspect fires his first shots and killed his first victim. He then enters onto 5th Street, and then there are 8 other victims killed by the suspect before he is fatally struck at the entrance to Ned Pepper's, which is where the circle designates. This is just the suspect's initial route. So you saw that square block or box that was on the screen saying where he fired his initial shots. This is that area illuminated in the daytime here, and that red arrow is the pathway he took to get to 5th Street. We're now going to show a couple of videos of this event that will show graphic content. They will show police officers engage this individual. They will show multiple shots being fired. We have tried to eliminate any video at this time that shows any victims who were shot. So we'll start with the first video. These are outside of Ned Pepper's. The Dayton police officer running on the top of the screen to engage the suspect. See the suspect enter the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. That's him there entering or attempting to enter Ned Pepper's when he is struck multiple times. And he stops there. And there's another video here, a little bit different angle. You see a lot of officers who are entering in from the upper left-hand corner of this screen and begin heading down the roadway there to engage the suspect. Here's one officer there, another officer coming with the patrol rifle. Additional officers responding. Officer with a sergeant with a shotgun. Next is a photographs of the suspect's vehicle, which is a 2007 gray Toyota Corolla. Next is a photo of the firearm used by the suspect. And you see in the lower left-hand corner those double drum magazines which have a capacity of up to 100 rounds. And on the lower right-hand corner, that firearm is identified. The officers involved in the active shooting in this event include Sergeant William Knight, Chad Knight, who came on in 1997, is a more than 20-year veteran. The remaining officers have been on it roughly about 3 years. They include Officer Brian Rolfus, Officer Jeremy Campbell, Officer Vincent Carter, Officer Ryan Nabel, and Officer David Denlinger. We've had extraordinary assistance from many, many different agencies: the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, the Ohio State Patrol, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, represented with us here on stage, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm, also one of our federal partners joining us here on stage, Sinclair Police Department, University of Dayton Police Department, Five Rivers Metro Parks, Kettering Police Department, Riverside Police Department, Montgomery County's Coroner's Office, Huber Heights Police Department, Montgomery County Prosecutor's Office, Box 21, Red Cross, Bellbrook Police Department, and also the U.S. Attorney of Southwest Ohio has joined us on stage, who have been very supportive and helpful in this investigation, which is ongoing. I'm just going to remind you that we're a little bit more than 12 plus hours into this event, so much is unknown. The Dayton Police Department Homicide Unit will be handling the criminal investigation. Administrative investigation will be conducted by Professional Standards Bureau, and that occurs anytime an officer discharges a firearm. Per police department policy, for the 5 officers and 1 sergeant, we're going to be placed on administrative leave. That is per protocol. We are still asking for assistance in this investigation, notwithstanding the substantial local and federal and even state resources dedicated to this investigation. If there's any information regarding this incident, we request it to be relayed to the Dayton Police Department by calling the tip line at 937-225-6217. There's a Family Assistance Center has been established at the Dayton Convention Center where you are at, and can be contacted directly at 937-333-8430. And for additional information, please follow our Twitter page at Dayton Police. That is the entirety of the presentation at this time. The status of this investigation. Once again, I reiterate, we are very, very early into this investigation. Any suggestion at this time of motive would be irresponsible. We do not have sufficient information to answer the question that everyone wants to know: why? We do not have that answer at this time. We will clearly pursue this investigation to try to understand motivation in this crime, assuming that there is a motivation that's understandable. So that's still before us. We have a lot of evidence to process through, from digital evidence to physical evidence to phone evidence. So much investigation is before us. So we're very early on. This is very basic preliminary information I'm able to provide at this time. With that, I will open up to any questions you may have.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You may have mentioned this earlier today, but there was a report that while the shooter had his rifle out, someone grabbed the end of the rifle, and so he dropped it and grabbed a handgun and started shooting, continued shooting. Is that true?
We have no information to substantiate that at all.
So as far as you know, it was just the rifle and no other gun?
There was a security officer after the suspect was down who removed the rifle from underneath him, or the weapon from underneath him. That happened, but I have no information to corroborate what you just mentioned at all.
We're going to have to do this in orderly fashion.
Was the sister the first victim, Chief?
No, she was not the first victim, but she was one of the initial victims. Right as he came out of that alleyway, she and another male who was a companion of the suspect was shot and wounded. So they were victims initially after the first person was shot. So very close proximity.
And your department this afternoon, I believe, with other agencies, served a search warrant out at home out in Belleville. Can you tell us, did you find more weapons and other evidence there, and what type of evidence you may have found that
I can't speak to the evidence that's recovered. We clearly did recover evidence. Much of this we're going to have to examine, so I can't really comment further on that at this time. Okay?
Can you tell us about the gun and where he got it?
Well, there's more than one gun, but I can tell you that particular weapon that you saw was ordered online from Texas, but transferred to the suspect at a local firearms dealer here in this area. There's also a shotgun that was acquired from a local firearms dealer here, two different dealers. But that weapon originated in Texas.
Can you speak to the legality of those weapons or the magazines?
Let me say there's nothing in this individual's history or record that would have precluded him from purchasing that firearm.
Is that magazine illegal? Got a 100-round magazine?
There is no indication that that is illegal at this time.
Is there anything significant to mentioning the shooter's race?
To mention it?
Yeah. Is there any significance to that?
Is there a possibility this could be investigated as a hate crime?
I don't think I understand your question. He's a white male.
Yeah, right. Is there any significance to mentioning that?
Like a hate crime?
We have no evidence to suggest that there's a bias motive in this crime at this time.
Do you know how many shots were fired? How many shots were left in the magazine?
It is certainly dozens were fired. I don't think we have an absolute count at this point, so I don't want to put a number out there and have it not be accurate, but dozens of rounds were fired.
Was he
Chief,
wearing
you
a
look at
whip
the
from
fact
his
that
sister
the
before?
officers and how they responded just in terms of the firepower they're up against. Can you describe, just by watching what you were able to see there, describe how you feel watching your officers and how they responded?
Well, I would tell you that what was crucial in their response was the availability of both shotgun and patrol rifle. That was crucial. That was a commitment we made really well over a decade ago, and even added to that inventory since my tenure as chief. I'm in my 12th year now. So recognizing the potential threats that we could face, particularly people wearing ballistic armor, we know we have to have the kind of equipment and weaponry to be able to thwart that. That was pretty crucial in this case, and I'm sorry, I think you had a question.
Was the shooter with his sister prior to the shooting?
Yes. The information we have is they all came in the same vehicle, but they separated at some point.
Was there an altercation in the vehicle before?
No information in that regard. Yes.
How was their family doing? They've lost both their children today.
Well, I think you can imagine this is a nightmare for them, and I think they are struggling, as you can understand.
Have they spoken at all? Have they said?
We've had a chance to have contact with them, yes, we've had.
Any indication that he was influenced by El Paso, the incident out there?
Pardon?
Any indication that he was influenced by the incident in El Paso?
We have no information to suggest that. None at this time.
Have you had a chance to talk to her boyfriend? If he came in the car with them, he knew that this gun and the ballistic vest and all this stuff was in the car?
We had an opportunity to talk to the individual who rode in a vehicle with him. So that is part of our investigation that's ongoing.
Any information on when the vest was purchased or where that came from?
Yes, we do have that information, but we're not going to release it at this time.
Chief,
So.
we're hearing from classmates of his from Belleville saying when he was in school there, he was suspended for a year because he had a hit list.
Mhm.
Can you confirm any of that? I know the criminal charges were filed.
I can't confirm, and I'm because it's going to speak to potential motive, right? I mean, that's what people are trying to get to here. There is far too much information that we have to review before we can even begin a conversation about possible motive. And I will not talk about any potential slice of evidence, its value or not at this time. It's just way too early.
Chief, you said there were two weapons?
Yes.
So he had a shotgun and an assault rifle on him?
And I'll just reconfirm, we have The shotgun wasn't.
Shotgun was in the vehicle, the assault rifle was.
Yeah, so there are 2 weapons, but one of which was used in the assault.
One he left in the vehicle,
Yes.
that he took to the place with his sister and her friend.
Well, let me just say that those weapons eventually wound up at that location. They separated at some point later in that evening. So what he did during that time that they were no longer together is a question mark in our investigation and something we're going to have to determine.
When do we believe
Was
it usually
anything found
arrived?
at the house?
I think that question was already asked, and I said we're not going to talk about any evidence at this
Nothing
time.
around for fire between your officers and this young man.
Yeah, I don't have a number for you right now. We were trying to confirm that. We basically do ballistics checks, so we look for shell casings at the scene. Then we have to match that against magazine capacity and rounds missing, and that's not always a precise comparison. So I don't have a precise number for you at this
And
time.
all the deceased victims were killed by him and not by any other?
We don't have any reason to believe that any of the persons deceased were shot by other than the assailant at this time.
Any
Was the
time
sister
on when
and
they
his
may have split
companion-
up from that car?
Hang on, what's that?
Any time when they may have split up? You said that the suspect didn't.
They did at some point in time. I don't think we have a precise time for that, but clearly it was some point in the evening that they did part ways.
Do you know what time they all arrived together?
I don't have that available to me right now. I mean, I don't have that specific information, so.
Was
Did
the
he
sister
shoot
and
at
his
your
companion
officers?
targeted?
Hang on.
Did he shoot at your officers, or was he, killed?
I don't think we have that known with absolute certainty. There was a vehicle shot early on in that exchange, right as our officers were either engaging or about to engage. So I can't really speak to that precisely.
Can you
Was
speak
the
on bar?
sister and the companion targeted by the shooter, or were they part of just an indiscriminate shooting?
That's really something we can't tell at this point. It's a question, it's a nagging question, and I just don't have the answer. We're trying to sort through that ourselves.
Did any of the other victims, did any other victims know the shooting? Did any other victims know the shooting?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you speak on the significance of that bar? Was there a reason why you wanted to go in?
Not that we're aware of, so we really don't know if that was somehow of importance.
With any of the 27 other victims, are they in critical condition? How are they doing? Are any of them?
We don't have, I think, anything precise on the other 27, do we? One critical, one's critical.
Chief, how will this incident change how your department polices it?
Well, it's interesting because we already have a concentration presence there just because it's an entertainment venue. We realize a lot of people come to Oregon District. I've been there very recently. So certainly we know a lot of folks will be there, and we have police officers present because of that reason. So will this cause us to evaluate? We will evaluate everything that touches on this incident just to determine whether or not we need to do anything differently. But there were certainly plenty of officers present that acted virtually instantaneously and effectively ended this in 30 seconds.
Chief, can you talk about your officers? You went through the guns that they used, but just the fact that they were able to be there and respond in seconds.
It was crucial. Had this individual made it through the doorway of Ned Pepper's with that level of weaponry, there would have been a catastrophic injury and loss of life. So stopping him before he could get inside there, where you saw all the people, they were running in there for protection. I'm not aware of that being the case.
Do you have any information about,
They were obtained legally, yes.
I just
Chief,
wanted
do
to
you have any
ask-
information that the shooter, the suspect, talked with anyone, spoke to anyone as this was going on?
None, Mike, none.
Now,
No.
Megan Betts, she was there with his friend, right? And when
Right.
she was fatally shot, he wasn't in at all?
No, he's one of the ones that was injured, transported to the hospital.
One of the 27 injured?
That is correct.
Okay.
What was the suspect wearing? There's reports of a mask, and then there's, when you say body armor, you mean like bulletproof vest, or was there more?
Yeah, ballistic vest.
And a mask of some sort?
Some sort of a mask, correct.
What kind of a man?
I don't have that information available.
So just to clarify, the companion, that was the shooter's companion or the sister's companion?
Uh, Well, let's say it was one and the same. They all came together. I do want to pause for a minute because I want, like, the FBI has a site that we want to get out publicly. Todd, if you can come join us and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Todd Wickerham. I'm the FBI special agent in charge for this part of the state. And www.fbi.gov, Dayton shooting, right? So one word, Dayton shooting, after www.fbi.gov/Dayton shooting. And what we can, people can submit there, if they have videos, if they have other social media associated with this shooting that they think would be of value to the investigation, this is where they can go to upload this to get it in the right hands as we're working jointly with Dayton on this investigation.
Thank you. And Ben, do you want to mention anything regarding Department of Justice attention to this matter?
Chief, I just wanted to say on behalf of the United States that the